Hi, welcome to Sunshine Startups Live. We are truly live. Hi, I'm host Jim Ryan, startup enthusiast, investor, entrepreneur, joined by my friend, the Dr. John Wensveen. We are having an exciting time at Emerge this week.
Good to be with you again, Jim. This is amazing. I'm really loving the buzz around us. It's much different than our typical studio environment that we broadcast out of. And I am loving it. The energy is high. I've been to a lot of Emerge Americas. This is number 8 out of 10. And by the looks of it, they may break the record in terms of how many people come through the door on day 1. And so excited to be with our next guest. It sounds like he's doing something very interesting.
It does, and excited to introduce a startup. And that's part of what we're doing here at Emerge. And in cooperation with the Emerge team is to sort of highlight and showcase some of the startups that are really blossoming here in the state of Florida and internationally as well, and they're all searching for the big prize. But if they don't get the big prize, it's still a wonderful opportunity to network and meet with potential venture capitalists, and maybe even pick up some customers. So really happy to have Matt Foley here from CodeComply. And so thanks for taking the time from your booth and pitching over and over and over again. But it's great to hear now about what is CodeComply and what problem is it solving. So
yeah, and first of all, guys, thanks for having me on. This is really great. I've been at the booth all day, so being able to sit down is also a nice change of pace.
I hope that big investor doesn't walk by when you're not there.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Sorry.
But what CodeComply does, we automatically review floor plans to help building permits be issued faster. So we really help the real estate industry.
That was easy. That was the 10-second pitch. I love it.
That's the shortest one we've ever had. Stump me. You stump me. I'm usually the one that's supposed to stump the guest. So talk about your founder's journey. What's your background, and how did you go through your journey to where you are today?
Sure. So my background, I'm actually a code consultant in Miami. So I work with architects to review different floor plans. A lot of my job is actually just taking really basic measurements and using Excel spreadsheets. So we built out a tool that we could use internally to make our code consulting firm a little bit faster. And then once we were using it, we started getting a lot of interest from government entities that said, hey, can we use this for our team so that we can review floor plans faster? And then once governments are using the same type of technology, now architects want it, because it almost gives them the answer to the test before they actually have to take it to the building permit. So we're helping architects build plans that have less errors, and then we're helping government entities review those plans faster.
So it sounds like you have some adoption today. You've got some customers. So talk about sort of the status of the business today. So you've got revenue coming in. How is your business scaling?
Sure. So currently we're pre-revenue and we're beta testing with a few different jurisdictions. We're doing a lot of work in Florida right now. Florida is actually a really great market for something like CodeComply. So typically cities that have the most construction have the longest permitting time because of bandwidth issues. So we're working with a lot of neighboring cities around here trying to build it out, and we're doing some work in some other cities as well.
So when you think about your business and you talk about, I don't want to say construction boom, but one of the official birds of South Florida is the crane, as I often joke about. And I was in Dubai recently, and I've never seen more cranes in my life. And did you know that 3/4 of the world's cranes are in the Emirates right now building? That's how fast they're accelerating. And I'm curious, when you look at different regions and what you're building, when you look at cities and counties and different states, they all have their different codes and regulations. How does a business like yours customize what you do so that it can be successful for you in that environment, and then of course successful for those that are ultimately using your product, your service?
Yeah, really great question. So what CodeComply does right now, we have AI that looks at a PDF floor plan and we'll analyze things like where's the corridor, how many stairs do you have, where are the walls, things like that. We take that information and use it as an input for different algorithms, and then we compare the output to different codes and standards. So one of the things we did early, we started working with the International Code Council and the National Fire Protection Association. So they provide all of their codes and standards to us through an API. For the most part, the code stays similar from one jurisdiction to another. But if there are changes, we do one of two different things. We either allow the user to go in and they can manually change the database, or if it's a large city that's reported that change to the International Code Council, then we get that information in real time through their API.
So talk about AI. So, we're hearing almost every other company now, we're the AI for this, we're the AI for that. How is AI, in your experiences now, sort of almost revolutionary, taking over into this legacy industry?
Sure.
You and I were talking a little bit before the podcast started. So kind of, what are your thoughts there about how AI is sort of complementing your business and then really working throughout that industry?
Sure, great question. So I would say that AI is a really great supplement for a lot of these professional services, but it's not a replacement. So we get asked a lot from building officials and architects, hey, how could it solve this incredibly complicated issue? And that's really not what we're going to. We want to expedite a lot of the really simple, easy checks to give those professionals more time to focus on the challenging issues. So we see it as more of a complement than a replacement.
AI is, obviously, it's probably the biggest acronym that's being used these days, and everything's AI. And I don't think the majority of people even understand what AI is. It's still being defined, and the applications and the infrastructure, the regulations, all of these are going to go with this as we move forward. But I was just on a panel this morning. We had a very interesting discussion about AI, and instead of building an AI company, you build a company that uses AI to support what you're doing. And you brought up something that 3 other entrepreneurs that I've had discussions with today said, and it's about acceleration, making things happen faster and using things like AI to be able to do that. So when you look at the business that you're creating right now, is there competition out there? And if so, what makes you unique? What's different? What's the selling point?
Yep, great question. So our closest competition, I'd like to look at it really in 3 different buckets. There are these permit enterprise solutions, there are electronic plan review tools, and then there are the groups that actually write the codes and standards. So your enterprise permit solutions, these are a lot of larger groups that handle anything from updating your pet license to paying a parking ticket to submitting a set of floor plans from an architect to a government entity. So that's not what we're doing. We're actually reviewing the floor plan. Now, there are other tools that actually you can open a PDF, take measurements, leave annotations, right? Adobe Acrobat is one of them, but they're not actually using any of the AI to identify these objects and extracting the data. And there's also no mapping to the codes and standards.
Perfect. So what are you looking to get out of Emerge? I'm assuming you're bootstrapping at this stage, pre-revenue. What's the goal? What's the objective?
Sure. So I'd say 2 things. Up until this point, we bootstrapped the company with $1 million of internal contributions, but we're in the process of going for our first external raise. So we're going for $2 million investment at a $22 million valuation. So meeting a lot of VCs and groups like that is really important. But also for me, transitioning from engineering space to entrepreneurship and building this startup, I'm getting a lot of great feedback from the mentors and from other founders too. So I'd say the education piece for myself selfishly, and then also going through and making sure that we can fill our raise.
And as you learn the ecosystem here in South Florida, which is truly on fire. It's amazing for entrepreneurs. If you know how to work it, you're into the right network. Do you work with incubators, accelerators as part of that journey?
Somewhat. I'd say this is really the one that we're the most excited about. There's a really great group in Boston called Suffolk Technologies, so that's one that we're trying to work with more. They have a program called Boost, but Emerge has been really great for me.
Good. Well, we're glad that you're here. One of our missions is to help support entrepreneurs like yourself, get the word out and tell people that you're here, and we'll share all this information with you, of course, but I know Jim will take it away and we'll...
Yeah, so Matt, how do potential venture capitalists or even prospects get a hold of you, get a hold of the company?
Sure. So our company website is CodeComply.Ai, which is also our name, so that's easy to remember. And then people can contact me through my personal email at mfoley@CodeComply.Ai.
Matt Foley, CodeComply is the company. Congratulations and good luck.
All right,
here.
Thanks,
hope to see you maybe on the final stage at Emerge.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you, and yeah, I concur.
Thanks for being on the podcast today.
All right, thanks, guys.
Remember to subscribe, like, and share the Sunshine Startups Live podcast, and follow us on social media. If you're interested in sponsoring or appearing on the show, please email us at booking@sunshinestartups.live.